it's nice to see you. I'm glad you could make it, and welcome to another episode of me lying to you. And by that I mean welcome to my July TBR. It is no joke, it is no secret that me and TBRs don't totally mix together because I am to my core a mood reader. However, I am also an overwhelmed mood reader, and the amount of books that I have unread sitting on my shelves are starting to stress me out, and the idea of deciding what to read next feels like a weight too big for me to bear. It feels like a weight on my shoulders. Proceeds to be the most dramatic person you've ever met in your entire life. And so I thought, why not? Why not narrow down that list? Why not get back into TBR so that for the month, you have a shorter list of books to pull from? Now, that was a goal for last month, and we didn't fail. We didn't fail. We didn't prosper. We didn't thrive, but we did not fail because I did read 3 of the 8 books on my TBR from last month, and last month was a weird reading month in general. But we'll get into that in the wrap up. All of that's to say, we are back for our July TBR. We are back to get started on our real summer reading. And we are going to be pulling some books to be on our July TBR. Now, I feel like with summer being here, I am just feeling like I want color in all aspects of my life. I feel like my entire life feels like the color pastel pink, maybe a pastel blue. I've been loving a butter yellow. Something about summer and color is the perfect combination. So I wanted to find a way to combine my absolute love for summer and colors and all things whimsical with reading. And what my little teeny tiny brain compiled was letting paint chips, all of the most beautiful colors of paint chips, choose my reads. So I took my little butt to the home improvement store. I got a plethora of colors, all of the paint chips. I wonder what they think I'm painting. I wonder what they think I was making this colorful and beautiful in my life. And on the back of every single one, we have a TBR prompt. I obviously can't shuffle these because I can't shuffle, point blank period. It's a skill that I was never taught. My mom can't do it either. So I feel like that was a skill I was never going to inherit. So I did in fact 52 pick up them, throw them on the floor and then pick them up, and then throw them on the floor and then pick them up to get them all scrambled to the scrambledness that they are in here. And from all these beautiful colors, we are going to pull the prompts that will then pick our July TBR. So I guess without further ado, I'm gonna fan these out as well as I can, and we will blindly pick. I think we're gonna do 6 this time. I did 8 last time, and 8 was too many. I don't read that many books in a month, you know? So we're gonna pick 6 this time. That feels like a better number. But maybe I'll get to 6 and I'll be like, what if we added one more? We're gonna do 6. But before we get into all of that, we need to talk about today's sponsor that has been single-handedly saving me hours. So a huge shout out and a huge thank you for giving me my time back to Rinse. I went to a wedding recently and I wore probably arguably one of my most favorite dresses that I've ever put on my body ever. However, as a 5'3" girly, the bottom of that dress has seen better days. After walking around on the lawn, that dress has seen better days. And it has been at the top of my to-do list for going on weeks now to take that dress to the dry cleaner. Little did I know that that could be knocked off of my to-do list in seconds. What would have been an intense Google search, a lot of driving, bringing it somewhere, leaving it there, and then coming back for it later has now become me just opening the Rinse app, scheduling a pickup, and having it ready at the door for someone to come and pick up. You heard that right. Someone comes to your door and picks up all of your laundry, dry cleaning, hang drying needs right from your door and then returns it to you, clean and ready to be worn again or put away. Whether it is dry cleaning one of your most favorite dresses, washing your knits that can only be hung dry, or your regular everyday gym clothes, day-to-day clothes, or laundry, Rinse has you covered. They are available 7 days a week with same-day pickups in so many regions, and they are so committed to those clothes being perfectly clean and ready to go that every single order is backed by the Rinse guarantee, that if anything comes back not crisp, clean, perfect, and ready to wear, then they will rewash it again for free. Not to mention that Rinse is also very committed to greener garment care, and they do so by using eco-friendly cleaning practices and by partnering with local cleaners who value sustainability. So whether it's taking hours of your life back with your everyday laundry, or that very special dress that taking to the dry cleaner has been at the top of your to-do list for the last 2 months, I'm calling myself out. I'm not calling you out, I'm calling myself out. Rinse has got you covered, and they don't only have you covered. They also have a little special gift just for you, because if you follow the link down below or use this QR code, you can save $25 on your first order with Rinse, which I don't know about you, but as a reader girly myself, being able to get those hours back and knock those things off of my to-do list sounds like more reading time to me. Yeah, my book just called. I am actually available because I've gotten so many hours back. A huge thank you to Rinse for sponsoring today's videos, and now back to our regularly scheduled shenanigans. I don't know how to fan these out. You cannot tell me that this color palette is not just making you happy. Seeing this all together brings me serotonin I didn't even know I was missing. All of that's to say, we are now going to pull our 6 prompts. I don't know if I should do this with my eyes closed like I'm a magician, but I can't see I don't know what anything is, and I can't see the colors. I also don't remember what I wrote on any of them, so it's just blind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This feels like it needs to be a lucky one. Okay, this one, 6. And here, within this teeny tiny pile of paint chips, lies our entire July TBR. Sunflower seed yellow is phone a friend. I feel like there's a lot of places I could take this. I feel like there's a lot of people I could call. Call a non-reader friend and say pick anything off the shelves. I could call a reader friend that is always yelling at me to read a book that I still have not read. However, I feel like if it is phone a friend, I need to call Emily because the list of books that I have unread sitting on my physical TBR because she told me that I needed to buy them is probably the biggest. So manifesting that Emily answers the phone literally right now. We definitely do unprompted FaceTime each other sometimes, but usually because we're both anxious girlies, we forewarn each other. So hopefully this doesn't alarm her too much. Hi.
Hi, honey.
How are you?
Oh, good. How are you?
I'm making my July TBR. One of my July TBR prompts is I have to phone a friend. And obviously I'm going to call you because there's how many unread books on my TBR because of you? So you're picking my very first July read. There's so many on the list that you could do Dire Bound, you could go Shields of Sparrow, you could go Servant of the Earth. There's probably so many more that I'm forgetting.
Frick! This is so tough! Okay, well, I'm biased because I have a book here waiting for you to get you. Show up at my house in T-minus 2 freaking days. So I think I'm gonna recommend that one. You haven't read it, I don't think. If you already have it, then that's awkward for me. We're gonna do, it's between two, and they're two that, like, are pretty underhyped in my opinion.
Okay.
But I think you're gonna like both. I really do think you're gonna like both, but I think you're gonna like this one more because I think you're gonna relate. This is more like a beautiful annotation-worthy book that you would probably really like.
You're speaking
and
my love
if you already
language.
have it, then that's really awkward and I can just go return it. It's fine. This one.
I didn't even think of that.
A Dance of Lies by Brittany Arena.
I'm going to the bookstore today and I was gonna get it. It's on my list to get for today, so I won't.
Well, don't.
That's a really good first book.
It's so good.
I'll call you regular later. I love you so
I love you
much.
so much.
Bye, thank you. I don't know how I didn't guess that this is what Emily was gonna pick. It wasn't even on my radar. It's because there's so many books that she tells me I cannot do anything until I've read these books. And there's just, the list is too long that I didn't even imagine that she was gonna pick Dance of Lies by Brittany Arena. She's been ranting and raving about this for months. She's been doing a lot of ARC reading and this is one of the ones that she was like, the second this comes out, you're running your little bit to the bookstore and you are buying it. I was actually gonna go to the bookstore today and buy it. So good thing I didn't because she got me a copy. However, book number 1 on our TBR is Dance of Lies by Brittany Arena. I have legitimately no idea what it is about, but I know nothing. I don't know why I was gonna say I know anything. Debut fantasy romance filled with hope after heartbreak, secrets and betrayal as a dancer turned spy must... Ooh, I knew this. I remember what it's about now. Okay. A dancer turned spy must decide how far she will go to secure her freedom. Vazalie Moran was once a dancer in King Il's court until he framed her for murder. Barely surviving her 2 years in the dungeon, she's suddenly called to face her king. He offers her a deal. Become his spy at the 6-week royal gathering and he'll grant her freedom. As Ilian's orders grow bloody and dangerous, forcing her to harm and betray those around her, she discovers that the monster she serves may be aligned with a bigger monster, one far closer to home. With her world threatened, Vazalie must enlist the help of Ilian's brother and greatest adversary, the infamous King of the East. I actually remember her talking about this while she was reading it. No, I'm sold. No, I think this will be really good. I think this could be one of those books that, now that it's out and people are talking about it, could be huge. So it's good that it's on the list because I feel like regardless this month, Emily probably would have made me read it. So, book number 1. Book number 2, based on Beach Foam, a book you've been putting off. There's so many ways that I could take this. There's so many things that I could do with this. Looking at my bookshelves, I've pulled 3 options of books that I have without a doubt been putting off. We have Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I want to have read everything by Ali Hazelwood, but I've not heard like amazing things about this, and it's on my physical TBR, so like I need to get to it, and there's like a real chance that it'll be cute and fun and I'll love it. But this is her YA debut, and I feel like what makes Ali Hazelwood's books so good is that they are adult, not the spiciness of them, just that like they are about adults. But I need to get to this. So this is definitely one I've been putting off. City of Souls and Sinners by Kayla Edwards. This is why I've been putting it off. I loved City of Gods and Monsters. This was actually on last month's TBR, and I didn't get to it. I did not. The first book in this series took me like 2 full weeks to read, and I want to continue on with this series. Like I feel like it's gonna be a 5-star series, but I've been putting off actually getting in here and picking this up. I also think that I maybe could have gotten away with not annotating this, but I feel like because I annotated the first one, I want the whole series to be annotated together, so that makes reading take longer. And then we have Blood Over Brighthaven by ML Wong. I'm putting this off because it's daunting, it's scary. This feels like it's gonna be very hard to understand. The whole concept of this world is magic from like magical typewriters, kind of. That's what it's like based in, and I've heard nothing but amazing things about it. Even like Bailey texted me when she read this and was like, Maddie, I need you to pick this book up right frickin' now, but I'm scared to pick it up. I think if I'm honest with myself, if we're making me read something because I've been putting it off, out of these 3 books right here, it's definitely Blood Over Brighthaven. And I know I'm gonna love it. I want to love it. I'm scared I might not. I know I'm probably gonna love it, but I'm scared it is gonna like go right over my head, or I'm gonna be confused a lot lot of the time. So if we're talking about one that's been put off, Blood Over Brighthaven, we're gonna make me read it this month, I guess. Book number 3, based on Ballet Rose, we have a book you didn't read last month. Should I just add City of Souls and Sinners right there? Out of the 8 books that were on my TBR last month, what I didn't read is It's a Love Story, City of Souls and Sinners, A Love Letter to Whiskey, Hollow Heathens, and Mile High. I mean, that's a lot of really good options. I feel like for summer, I've been telling myself I want to read the entire Windy City series throughout the summer, so I feel like if I want to still accomplish that goal, we should probably start with Mile High. This book is no stranger to having been on my TBR. However, when I talked about it last time, a lot of the comments were saying, like, I don't know why people don't like Mile High. Like, I really liked Mile High, which has made me quite a bit more excited to go into it. We're following Xander's and Stevie is a flight attendant, and she flies for NHL teams, if I'm not mistaken, and Xander's is in the NHL, and the entire Windy City series is like sports romance, found family situation, and it needs to get read. It needs to be finished. I need to get to this. So if I want to read this in the entirety of summer and we look at the entire TBR from last month, this is probably the one that makes logistically the most sense. Roasted Corn, crazy name for a paint. This does look like roasted corn. A book from a new to you author. Majority of the books on my TBR are repeat offenders of authors, and I don't have all that many new authors. However, these are 4 authors that I have books from that I have not read yet. A Love Letter to Whiskey by Candy Steiner, Cash by Jessica Peterson, A Cowboy Romance, fun old time. The publisher sent me this and it's beyond beautiful. Dire Bound by Sable Sorensen. I really do need to get to this one because this was my May book club pick and I got so overwhelmed that month and I was not reading literally anything. So I know I need to get to this one, and I've never read Sable Sorensen. I think this is their debut, if I'm not mistaken. And Servant of the Earth by Sarah Hawley, another one that Emily made me buy. I do have to say, this is a beautiful naked hardback. Like, it comes as a naked hardback. It's in the miniature format. The actual reading experience of this book, I feel like, would be incredibly top tier. I feel like I can't really go wrong with any of these. I know it's not gonna be a love letter to whiskey. There's been like 3 prompts that I could have put a love letter to whiskey on this pile for, so it's probably not gonna be a love letter to whiskey. I don't have it in me to commit to that. Emotional devastation or page count right now. I think both of these are gonna be 5-star romantasy reads. I'm conflicted on what to do here. I feel like these both will probably get read in the month. That's really ambitious of me, but they both might get read in the month of July. I think we're gonna do Servant of the Earth because a lot of my friends are reading this after Emily having recommended it to them and loving it, and I've obviously never read anything by this author. So, Kenna Heron is best known in her village for being a little wild, some say half feral, but she'll need every ounce of that ferocity to survive captivity in the cruel Fae court. Trapped as a servant in the fairies' underground kingdom, Kenna must help her new mistress undertake 6 deadly trials, one for each branch of magic: earth, fire, light, void, illusion, and blood. If she succeeds, her mistress will gain immortality and become the heir of the Earth House. If she doesn't, the punishment is death for both of them. With no ally but a sentient dagger of mysterious origins, Kenna must face monsters, magic, and grueling physical tests. But worse dangers await her underground, and soon Kenna gets caught up in a secret rebellion against the inventively sadistic fairy king. I also know this is like slow burn, and that it's fantasy forward, which is kind of what I'm looking for right now. So I think this could be the right read. And with Prairie Rose, under 350 pages. This is what we wanted to see. This is what we wanted to see. We need something to add to the TBR that is a realistic standard. We need a list of books that will realistically get read. So if we have a short one, that's pretty good. This prompt is just like honestly not even up for debate. We're doing It's a Love Story by Annabelle Monaghan. I am dying to dig my teeth into this story. I have not rated anything by Annabelle Monaghan below like a 4.5. I love the way that she like packs punch in what she says. Like where another author would spend like paragraphs explaining something, she says it in one line that is so punchy and so like just so good. She writes so beautifully. I don't know what it is about her writing. Like she has a very specific brand of writing that I've never seen another author do, and I eat up every single one of the words that she gives us. Jane Jackson spends her adolescence as poor Janie Jakes, the barbecue sauce in her braces punchline of America's 5th favorite sitcom. Now she's trying to be taken seriously as a Hollywood studio executive by embracing a new mantra: fake it till you make it, except she might have faked it a little too far. Desperate to get her first project greenlit and riled up by pompous cinematographer and one-time crush Dan Finnegan, she claimed that she could get a mega pop star Jack Quinlan to write a song for the movie. Jack may have been her first kiss and greatest source of shame, but she hasn't spoken to him in 20 years. I feel like it's unclear from that who's going to be the love interest, but I know Annabelle Monaghan is going to deliver because she never doesn't, and I've heard this actually is a lot of people's favorites of everything she's written, and I have so many big feelings about her previous books, so if this is even better, I would be shocked. And picking our very last read for the month of July, we have Ancestry Violet, whatever that means. A book with an even number of pages. I'll be right back. That was so much harder to find than I was anticipating, but we have Hollow Heathens by Nicole Fiorina, One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune, Dire Bound by Sable Sorensen, and Cash by Jessica Peterson. These are all like immensely different vibes. What do we not have? We have some romance. We have an equal number of fantasy and an equal number of romance. We're gonna do One Golden Summer because then we have an equal number of romance and fantasy, because with Emily's fantasy pick, we have 3 and 3 of each. I also know that I'm probably gonna have to read every summer after before I go into this. I've said so many times that I don't care and I don't want to because I know I don't like the trope in that book, but now people are telling me that I should, and it's not gonna hit as much, and like what's the point of reading something if it's not gonna hit as hard as it could? So this is kind of adding 2 books to my TBR, but I loved reading This Summer Will Be Different last summer, and this takes place in Ontario, in Muskoka, Saratoga, where I'm from, like where I've grown up going to camp, and like I'm never not looking for that feeling in a book. Good things happen at the lake. That's what Alice's grandmother says. And it's true. Alice spent just one summer there at a cottage with Nan when she was 17. It's where she took that photo, the one of the 3 grinning teenagers in a yellow speedboat, the image that changed her life. Now Alice lives behind the lens as a photographer. She's most comfortable on the sidelines, letting other people shine. Lately though, she's been itching for something more. And when Nan falls and breaks her hip, Alice comes up with a plan for them both. Another summer in that magical place, Barry's Bay. But as soon as they settle in, their peace is disrupted by the roar of a familiar yellow boat and the man driving it. Charlie was 19 when Alice took that photo from afar, and now he's all grown up, a shameless flirt who manages to make Nan laugh, and Alice long to be 17 again. It's giving summer romance. It's giving this is the correct choice. And on that note, this plus Dance of Lies is our July TBR. I think there's a little bit of variety in here. Also, we did less books this time, so it should be less jarring. It should be more realistic to try and finish it. So let me know if you guys have read any of these and what you thought of them, or if you're going to be reading along with me this summer. Also, let me know which ones I need to pick up first, like which ones need to be priority, because if they're going to change my life, I want to know that. I need to know that. That's kind of the name of the game. Anyways, that was Paint Chips choosing my July TBR. It was kind of just a fun, more colorful way to do TBR prompts. So thank you for spending a little bit of your day with me, and I hope to see you in the next one. Love you. Bye. Me looking at my TBR right now, like this has to be the month that I read them all. This has to be. This is a very realistic TBR. Like this can be read. You guys will all be read in a month's time, okay? Me when I lie.